My name is Elena. I am on a train right now. The train is full, but the seat next to me is empty. I keep my old suitcase close. People look at it. I hear two people behind me whisper, "Why is she carrying that old thing?" I smile, but I say nothing. I don't want to explain it to them. Not everyone understands. A young man walks in. He looks for a seat. He points and says, "Can I sit here?" I say, "Yes, of course." He sits down. He looks at my suitcase. He asks, "That looks old. Why don't you get a new one?" I look at the suitcase. I don't answer right away. Then I say, "Because this suitcase knows my story." He laughs a little. "Your story?" he says. "Yes," I say. "My whole life is inside this suitcase." He looks confused, but he nods. He asks, "Is there something important inside?" I say, "Very important, but not the way you think." I don't tell him what is inside. I don't tell him where I'm going. Not yet. I just look at the suitcase. It has been with me for a long time, more than 40 years. That's longer than some marriages, longer than most promises. And this suitcase, it never left me. He asks again, "So, where are you going?" I say, "Somewhere important." That is all I say. He waits for more, but I don't say anything else for now. Let him wonder. Let you wonder too. Do you want to know what is inside this suitcase? Do you want to know where I am going? Then listen carefully. This is not a story about travel. This is not a story about a bag. This is a story about time, about silence, about something I lost. No, not something. Someone. You see, this suitcase is not just old. It is heavy, but not because of clothes. It carries other things, things you cannot see. Every time I travel with it, I remember. Not all memories are happy. Some memories stay quiet, but they don't go away. Today, I am going somewhere I have never been before. But this place is connected to something very old, something that started before I had gray hair, before I had regrets, before I made one decision that changed everything. The young man speaks again. He asks, "Are you going to see your family?" I pause. Then I say, "Maybe." He looks surprised. "You don't know." I say, "I'm not sure if they want to see me." He becomes quiet. "I think you are quiet now too." That's good, because the story is just beginning. So I ask you again. Do you want to know what is inside the suitcase? The young man doesn't ask anything else for a while. Maybe he feels that my answers are not the ones he expects. Maybe he sees that I carry something more than just a suitcase. I stay quiet too, but not because I have nothing to say. I have too much. The problem is, I never said it to anyone before. I never opened this story. After a few minutes, I speak again. I say, "This suitcase was with me when I left my home for the first time." He looks at me. I continue. "It was with me when I was alone in another city, when I worked 2 jobs, when I had no one to talk to." He listens, but he says nothing. I say, "It was also with me when I made a choice, a hard one. one that I cannot change now. He asks, "What choice?" I smile. I say, "I'll tell you a little, but not everything. Not yet." I look at the window. The train moves fast, but my thoughts move faster. I remember a phone call many years ago. I was tired, working night shifts. I was angry at my daughter. She was young. She made mistakes. I made some too, maybe more than her. We said things we should not have said. Then silence. 1 week, 2 weeks, months, years. I got news later. She had a baby, a girl, my granddaughter. But I never met her. I never held her. I never heard her voice. They didn't invite me. I didn't go. I told myself, it's not my fault. I told myself they should call me. I told myself many things to feel better. But time doesn't stop. It moves. And one day you look back and you don't know where it all went. The young man asks, "Have you ever tried to talk to them again?" I say, "No, I wanted to. I wrote letters, I didn't send them. I picked up the phone, I didn't call. I watched the years go by. I bought gifts, I never mailed them." He asks, "Why not?" I say, "Because I was afraid they didn't want me." He says, "But maybe they do." I nod slowly. Maybe, but maybe not. That's the problem with silence. You don't know what's behind it. He doesn't speak after that. He looks at the suitcase again. I think he wants to ask what's inside. I know what he's thinking. Is it a gift? Is it a photo? Is it something she wants to give them? But that's not it. I say, this suitcase doesn't carry clothes. It carries time. It carries every year I stayed away, every word I didn't say, every tear I didn't cry. He looks down. He understands a little more now. But not everything. No one does. Not yet. I look at the young man again. He is quiet now, but I know he is still curious. I can see it in the way he watches the suitcase. I wait. Then I ask him, "Do you have a grandmother?" He says, "Yes, but she passed away." I say, "Did you love her?" He nods. "Very much," he says. I ask, "Do you think she made mistakes?" He thinks for a moment. Then he says, "Yes, but we all do." I say, "That's true, but some mistakes stay longer. Some don't leave even after many years." He listens closely now. I continue. I was not always a kind mother. I worked too much. I was tired. I shouted too often. I expected too much. I forgot how to say I love you. I forgot how to say I'm proud of you. The young man stays silent. I say, and one day, I forgot how to say I'm sorry. He asks, "Is that why you never went to see them?" I say, "Yes and no. I thought they would come to me." I waited. I waited for one letter, one visit, one word, but nothing came. I pause. And after many years, the waiting becomes your home, and the silence becomes your family. He asks, "So, why now? Why are you traveling today?" I answer, "Because something changed." He leans in. "What changed?" I say. "Not them, me." He looks confused. I explain. "I opened a drawer last month. I found a box full of old things. Letters I never sent. pictures I never framed, small gifts I never gave, I say. And under the box, there was something else, a small envelope. Inside, there was money, old bills, small coins, savings from many years. I didn't remember putting it there, but I did. I saved it little by little, not for bills, not for clothes, for something else. He asks, for what? I smile, but I don't answer. Not yet. I say, this money is not a gift. It is a message without words, a way to say, I didn't forget, even if I was silent, even if I stayed away. He doesn't ask anything more for now. Maybe he is thinking about his own life. Maybe he is wondering what things he hasn't said, or who he hasn't seen. And maybe you are thinking too. Do you have someone you haven't called in years? Do you have words you keep inside? Do you have a suitcase, not in your hands, but in your heart? Because I do. And today I am carrying mine for the last time. The train is getting closer to the final station. I can hear the announcement, but I don't move. I stay in my seat. The young man looks at me. He says, "This is your stop?" I say, "Yes, it is." But I make no effort to stand. Not yet. He looks at the suitcase again. He asks, "So, are you going to her house?" I look at him. I say, "No." He waits. He doesn't understand. "But I thought you came to see your daughter or your granddaughter," he says. I nod. "That's what I said, but not in the way you think." I tell him, I don't have an address. I don't have a phone number. I don't even know if they still live in this city." He looks shocked. "So, you're coming without a plan?" I say, "No, I have a plan, just not the kind people expect." I tell him, "I wrote a letter last night, the first one I will actually deliver. It is not long, but it says what I need to say." He asks, "Where will you leave it?" I say, "Where she can find it, where someone will make sure she sees it." He thinks for a moment. "Like a family friend?" I say, "No. A place for people who need help. A center. A small building. They know my daughter. I checked. She goes there sometimes. Not often, but enough." He is quiet. Then he asks something I did not expect. "And the money? You said you saved it for years. Will you leave that too?" I say, "Yes." He says, "But how will you know if they accept it, or if they even want it?" I look at the window. I say, "I won't know. I will never know." He looks sad now. He says, "That's brave." I shake my head. "No, it's late, but maybe not too late." I tell him, "This is the last time I carry this suitcase. After today, it will not be mine anymore." He asks, "And after that, what will you do?" I say, "I will go home. But this time I will go home lighter. I will go home without waiting for a reply. I will go home free." He asks one more thing. "Why now? Why not before?" I look at him, and for the first time, I tell the truth. Because yesterday I looked in the mirror, and I didn't see a woman with time. I saw a woman with one last chance. The train stops. The door opens. People leave. I stay for a moment longer. Now it's time, but not to meet someone. It's time to let go. I step off the train. The air feels different, but I know it's not the city. It's me. I walk slowly, not because I'm old, but because I want to remember every step. I don't know if I will come here again. The young man walks with me for a while. He says, "I can help you carry the suitcase." I say, "Thank you, but I need to carry it myself, just this one last time." He nods. We walk in silence. We reach a small building. It looks simple. No signs, no colors, just a door. I stop. He looks at the place. "This is it?" I say, "Yes." He says, "Do you want me to wait?" I say, "No. You've come far enough." He gives a small smile and says goodbye. Then he walks away. I take the suitcase and enter the building. Inside, a woman at the front desk looks at me. I say, "I'm here to leave something for someone. Her name is Laura. She comes here sometimes." The woman looks surprised. "Laura," I say. "Yes, Laura Morales. She used to come here. Maybe she still does." The woman nods slowly. "Yes, I know her. She comes every few weeks." I take a deep breath. I open the suitcase. Inside, everything is packed carefully. On top, there is an envelope. I hand it to the woman. "Please give this to her." Then I lift a small metal box from the suitcase. "And this too." She takes it gently. She looks inside the box and gasps. "Ma'am, this is a lot of money." I say, "It's for her daughter. Her name is Anna. She's 13 now, I think." The woman asks, "Who are you?" I look at her and say, "No one important, just someone who stayed quiet for too long." She wants to ask more, but I don't let her. I close the suitcase, now empty. I leave it on the floor. I tell her, "It belongs here now." And I leave. But outside, something happens. As I reach the street, I hear a voice, a small voice. "Grandma?" I freeze. I don't turn around. I hear it again. "Grandma Elena?" I turn slowly. It's a girl. Thin, small, with curious eyes. She holds a piece of paper. My letter. She says, "Did you write this?" I nod. She says, "I came with my mom. She forgot her bag inside. I saw your name on the letter. I asked the lady." She looks at me for a moment. Then she says, "You wrote that you love me, even if you never met me." I say, "Yes, I did." She takes a step closer. She says, "Can I ask you something?" I nod. She says, "Do you want to meet my mom?" When she says, "Do you want to meet my mom?" I feel something inside me. I don't know what it is, fear, maybe, or hope, or both. I look at her. She is still standing there, waiting, not angry, not scared, just waiting. I ask, "Does she know you came outside?" She says, "No, she is still talking inside, but I saw your name, and I wanted to see who you are." I nod slowly. I want to say something smart, something beautiful, but I can't think of anything. So I say what I really feel. "I've waited for this moment for many years," I tell her. "But now that it's here, I don't know what to do." She says, "You don't have to do anything. You can just come inside." I take a step forward. Then I stop. I say, "What if she doesn't want to see me?" The girl looks at me and says, "But I do." It's quiet after that. The cars pass. The wind moves. The world keeps going, and I understand something. Sometimes life doesn't give you a perfect answer. Sometimes it gives you a small window, a small hand, a small chance. I say, "Then let's go." She smiles and turns around. We walk together. I hear my heart, not because it's weak, but because it's loud. After so much silence, it feels like music. We reach the door. She opens it. I see the woman at the desk. She looks at me, then at the girl. She seems to understand without words. Then I see her, my daughter. She is older now. Her hair is different, her eyes too. But I know her. I knew her the second I saw her. She looks at me. Her face changes. I don't know what she feels. I don't know what she will say. I open my mouth to speak, but she raises her hand gently. She says, "Did you really save all that money for Anna?" I say, "Yes." She says, "And you came without knowing if we would be here?" I say, "Yes." She says nothing for a moment. Then she turns to the girl and says, "Anna, wait outside a minute." The girl nods and steps out. Now we are alone. She walks to me. She doesn't smile. She doesn't cry. She says, "You left me." I say, "I know." She says, "You hurt me." I say, "I know." She says, "But you came?" I say, "Yes." She stands still. Then she says, "I don't know how to feel, but I don't want to run anymore." I say, "Me neither." She looks down. Then she looks at me again. "Do you want to come over for dinner?" she asks. I pause. I think of the suitcase. And I say, "Only if I don't have to bring anything." Sometimes the heaviest things we carry are not in our hands. They are in our hearts. Maybe it's a word we didn't say. Maybe it's a hug we didn't give. Maybe it's a phone call we never made. Time moves fast. People change. But some feelings stay. They wait, quietly, like a suitcase in the corner of a room. We all make mistakes. We all stay silent when we should speak. But silence does not mean it's too late. Not always. This story is not just about Elena. It's about you and me, about second chances, about choosing love even when it's hard. So today, ask yourself, is there someone I miss but I never called? Is there someone I hurt but never told I'm sorry? Is there someone I love but never told them? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Sometimes a small message is enough. A letter, a visit, a whisper, because maybe, just maybe, they are waiting too.